There's something wrong with this spot. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a severe lack of plants. I think we should fix that. We're going to a plant sale organized by the Cactus and Succulent Society of Australia. It's about 45 minutes drive from home, and I'm ready. This is just the first batch of my purchases, and I'm going back for more. And here's my second round. Well, mine are the echeverias over here, because my mother-in-law got some aloes and cacti. This is an annual competition and show held by the Society. There are numerous categories, each with its own set of winners. I heard that there has been more entries this year than in the previous year. I think this is a reflection of how popular this hobby has become. Seeing how beautiful the show plants are inspired us so much. So much that my mother-in-law took home several cacti. Pretty cool, huh? Maybe someday I'll have something show-worthy. That's something for the bucket list. For the meantime, I'll be content at looking at these show plants and see if I can get mine to look better than these. Give me a year or two, I'll get there. For the next 10 minutes or so, you'll be treated to a montage of the show plants. So please sit back and enjoy. Yes, I'm going for it. It's a Romeo and it's going for 60. So here's the echeverias I got from the plant sale, and about half of them are either the frilly types or the large growing types. So this means I managed to take off a lot of the cultivars in my wish list. Most of them are labeled, which makes it easy for me because it's easier for me to know if I doubled up on something or not. For the most part, I have no duplicates except for a few here. One of them is this. It's labeled Echeveria Moon Goddess, and it looks a lot like one of the plants that I already have. This one. When I got this, it looked similar to this, and the way it grows, it bears a lot of similarity. I originally thought, well, I still think this is Azoro, but now that I've seen the Moon Goddess, I now think they're the same plant. So I'm going to see how this grows, and if they end up looking the same, then that confirms it. This is a Moon Goddess. I brought home a total of 28 echeverias, and I only have 8 terracotta pots. So this means I have a tough decision ahead of me, picking which ones I should transfer into these pots. Maybe some of you are wondering why I'm thinking of transferring them. There's a few reasons, and one of them is that it's now close to summer. Well, it's the last month of spring. And since it's the growing season of echeverias during the warmer months, I figured I'm going to give them a head start with their growth by giving them a larger pot. Some of them looks like they're already filling up the pot and maybe are getting close to being bound. So that alone is a good reason to do this. The other thing on my mind is that although yes, this comes from professional breeders and growers, I still think that it's worth taking the time to have a look at the soil and see if they need changing. Because as I have learned in the past year of growing, it's better to be sure with the soil that you're using. And I've already got good experience with the existing mix that I have. So I think it's worth doing this. And thirdly, since it's growing season now, I believe it's worth taking the time to replace the soil with something with more fertilizer. So I believe a soil refresh is in order. So as you can see before me, I've got my echeverias laid out. And I'm going to look at them one by one and show you what I've got. This will be the closest to an unboxing video that I'll make, because I don't think I'll make a good reviewer. But we'll see. Before I start, I'm going to point out that, again, like I mentioned a while earlier, I only have 8 pots. 8 of these 17-inch pots.
and I'll have to think about which ones will have to go in it. It's so windy today. As you can tell from all of the swinging and maybe the background noise, it's quite windy today, so I hope I don't knock anything over. Back to the pots. I've got a few remarks from several viewers actually that they're bothered by all of the bar stickers being left in the pot. So as a first step, I'm going to remove them now, just to keep you guys happy. And that's all of them sorted now. I guess I'll get fewer complaints about the stickers. Now, so which ones am I going to move into the pot? Well, for sure, I'm going to move the Romeo, maybe some of the larger ones here. But before we begin, I'm going to show you each of my echeverias. So up first, this is a Romeo. This is an Agavoides cultivar. So an Echeveria Agavoides Romeo. So another from the Agavoides cultivars. This is a Gaia. So Echeveria Agavoides Gaia. And it has lots of decent sized pups, which is good. Up next, this is a Morning Light, and from memory, this is a cultivar based on, I think, the Cante and Shaviana. Yeah, that's if I remember correctly. But in any case, I've been after this for quite a while. This next one comes with a tag and it says Echeveria Mary Butterfield. So I think this goes a bit freely when it gets larger, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Another of the freelies which I had in my list is Echeveria Socialite. So even as a small plant, you can see the curls growing on the leaves. So it's pretty cool. Another to add to my collection of dark echeverias is Echeveria Chocolate. So just looking at it, you can see where it got its name. Another dark cultivar is Echeveria Tori. I am not sure what the parentage is, but I think it might involve Shaviana, but don't quote me on that. This is Echeveria Alice, and it's another cultivar, another frilly cultivar in my list, and this one grows quite large. This is an Echeveria Ecuador. I haven't seen this before, and it's pretty new. It's never been in my radar, so I was intrigued and got it anyway. Here's another large frilly hybrid. So I got it labeled as Echeveria crispata, and other sources list it as Echeveria gibiflora crispata. But according to further readings, the correct name would be Echeveria Richard. So it's interesting to see how this would look like. But yeah, this one grows large. Another freely that grows large is this Echeveria Alma Wilson. So this is another one ticked off of my list. Another one in my list is Aquarius. This is also a frilly. I think this goes medium to large size. I'm not sure what the largest size of this would be. But in any case, another one from my list. This is a Pachyveria blue tongue. It looks like some of my other Pachyverias, but it has a different coloring. And another one to add to my collection. Yet another Pachyveria. This is a Pachyveria glauca. This is not to be confused with Pachyveria bea. They have different parents. In any case, maybe I could do a side-by-side comparison at some point. This is an Echeveria colorata, forma colorata. And apparently, based on my readings, this is synonymous to another colorata hybrid, which is the Echeveria lindsayana. So, while there might be some visual differences between the two, for most intents and purposes, they are the same. So the lindsayana and the forma colorata are the same. It's just that they have been exposed to different growing conditions. It's interesting to see how they would develop as they grow up. But in any case, yes, they are both coloratas and they might be the same plant. Another frilly that I got is this Echeveria moon goddess. I have a feeling that one of the larger ones that I bought before is the same as this one, because the leaves look the same and the way the older leaves droop are exactly the same. I originally thought that the other one was a Zorro, but it might be a moon goddess as well. So let me just quickly show you. So here's the larger one and here's the smaller one. I still can say for sure 100% if they're the same plant, but it would be easier when they grow older. Here's another one from my list. This is also a frilly, and its name is Echeveria Easter bonnet. I think this goes large, but I'm not sure what the maximum size would be. Here's another one not in my radar, but I got intrigued. This is an Echeveria thelma. From what I can tell, this is a frilly, but I'm not sure what size it grows into. So we'll see. Another frilly to add into my collection is this Echeveria Purple Beauty. This is also the first time I've heard of this, so I got it anyway. And now we're moving into the smaller types. So the first one would be, this one is labeled Echeveria Alpine Rose. It's not in my list, but I kind of like how it looks like. So, yep, I pick it up. Next is Echeveria Exotic. Some people might confuse this with Topsy-Turvy, but if you hold them side by side, you'll definitely see the differences. In this case, I think this one does not grow as large as the Topsy-Turvy, and it has thicker leaves.
Upon further research, I found out that the exotic is a hybrid between the Laui and the Topsy-Turvy. Everything makes sense now.
This one is also not in my list, but I don't have this one yet, so it got me intrigued. And the label comes as Echeveria White One. I can't find any references about this online, so I'm not sure if this is a valid cultivar name or maybe just a label just given to it. So we'll see how it goes. Another one to add to my list of white cultivars is Echeveria Canadian. This might be the same one that they're calling as Canadian subsicilis, which is, you know, another name for morning beauty or Desmetiana. So I'm going to see when this goes larger and see if they're the same plant. Another white cultivar to add to my list is Echeveria Beverly. I don't know much about this plant, but I've seen quite a few photos of this and I like it. Another white one, and this is labeled as Echeveria Monroe. It looks generic right now, but I quite like it. I guess maybe when it gets more sun, it would look more flawless. And it has a stripe. That's weird. It might be variegating, but I don't think so. It's just a quirk. Another one in my list, this is a tiny frilly type, and its name is Echeveria Pink Painted Frills. It got its name from its parents, which is, this is a hybrid between a Shaviana Pink Frills and a Echeveria Nodulosa Painted Beauty. So hence the name Pink Painted Frills. I wonder if it's going to get the same markings as its Nodulosa parent, but we'll see once it grows larger. And finally, the most expensive purchase in the show. This is an Echeveria agavoides ebony. Unlike the red edge or lipstick, this one has paler, the green is paler and the markings are much darker. Yes, it has a very subtle beauty, and I believe it stands out compared to the others. I still haven't decided how I'm going to pick which ones to go into the pots. But it's a good thing I've identified which ones grow large and which ones don't. I think that's going to be one of the factors. And another factor would be how precious I think they are. Because I want to be able to properly control the moisture I give them. And the good thing about terracotta is that water seeps through the walls. So any excess, yeah, I won't have any problems with excess because any excess water will just seep out. There's less risk of overwatering when you're using terracotta. Now, after having defined my selection criteria, and I'm only keeping the large frilly types here and the precious ones, I'm still left with 16. I still have to eliminate half of them. So I'm definitely taking the larger ones. This 4. The ebony. I already have a moon goddess in a big pot, so maybe you can stay here. Definitely the socialite. Definitely Alice. One more. Alma Wilson. Yeah, Alma Wilson. These guys can get pots next time. Maybe I'll just have to go out and get more. So it's just this 8. And these are the remaining 8 that I have chosen to go into the pots. So we have this ebony, Alice, Alma Wilson, Socialite, Romeo, Morning Light, Gaia, and finally Richard. show you how strong the winds are.
Bubbly. Bubbly. Bubbly.
Here's Zachary mixing my soil. Mix, mix, mix. I'll help you. Here. Zaki also, Zaki.
Wow.
Wow. Yes. More, more. Put more. Good job. Again. Yes. Other kids have sandpits. We have wheelbarrows.